Yeah, it's a touchy subject, Dan, at the moment with our own party. And
Why?
Parliament. It just is. There's so many members of our own party on those backbenchers that are just so against leaving the ECHR. From day one, I've always said, I've been quite adamant about it, that if it means leaving the ECHR to get our own way to control our borders, then we should do it. I'm hopeful that the Bill of Rights and these new points that Rishi raised yesterday will sort of get round that. But if not, let's leave it. I mean, what are we faffing about that? It's our own country. We should be able to protect our own borders. And if it means leaving the ECHR, let's just do it. Crack on.
Well, yeah, indeed. And as your colleague Jonathan Gullis pointed out quite rightly, Sunak, in the summer leadership campaign, said that if it was necessary to leave the ECHR, he would. So what's changed?
I think there's quite a few people in that leadership campaign, Dan, if we're honest, that made certain promises. Yeah. That's just the nature of politics. Look, nothing's off the table. As you've quite rightly said tonight, Dominic said something which is quite interesting, that excites me a little bit. Look, this is the last chance saloon for us. We've got to sort this migrant crisis out. Look, nothing's off the table. And, you know, if it means leaving the ECHR, then so be it. But if we don't sort this out, you know, the party is on notice. I said this last week. If we don't sort this out, we've got big problems come the next election because nobody will trust us on protecting our borders.
Because, Lee, you wrote a very powerful column in the Mail on Sunday at the weekend.
I did.
Making it clear that your support for the Conservative administration is conditional on the boats being stopped. So what's the alternative if they're not?
It's not just my support, Dan. It's the 5 or 6 million people who voted Conservative for the first time at the 2019 general election. Their votes are conditional on us sorting this out. I sort of see myself as a little bit of a voice for the Red Wall voters, and if they're upsetting me, they're upsetting our voters in the Red Wall, so they need to sort this out, or come the next election, I don't know where these voters are going.
And so is that you saying that you would potentially consider leaving the Conservative Party if this issue?
No, it's not, Dan, because at the next election I want to stand for the Conservative Party. I've got a big...
But you want to win.
I want to win and prove to the people who are in that place where I work, I'm not going to swear, I nearly did then, but that place I work, which sometimes, or most of the time, is completely out of touch with the real world. I want to show them that what I've been saying and what I've been doing all along is the right thing.
Yeah, indeed. And it's so importantly. And I think the thing that is really frustrating for me today, obviously what's happened is a real tragedy. Of course it is. But that's why stopping the boats is the humane thing to do, because stopping the boats also means stopping the deaths.
Dan, you bang on the money. Look, these deaths are unfortunate. It makes me feel sick.
Yeah.
But let's hold our hands up. We spend too much time in that place blaming the evil people smugglers. It's our fault. It's Parliament's, all parties in there. We've got the chance to stop this. We could have brought laws in. We're there to protect our borders. We're not. So any deaths in the Channel, we need to hold our hands up and apologise to the rest of the world because we're complicit in this. I really believe that.
Indeed. So how confident are you that the 5 points that Sunak outlined actually will make?
Well, there's one thing in there, Dan, which I've been asking for since day one, and that's for anybody who arrives here illegally, whether that be on a small boat or in the back of a lorry, they should not be allowed to claim asylum. That's the pull factor, because people know if they get here illegally, it's almost impossible to send them back to the country of origin. If we get that right, then there's no point in them coming.
No, indeed. And now, look, Lee, I had to ask you about this. Former Liverpool football star Jamie Carragher has made waves with a column insisting that the next English manager, if it's not Gareth Southgate continuing in the role, should be English. Yeah. But former Sky Sports presenter Richard Keys confronted Carragher about it, calling the idea nonsense, and said that it bordered on racism. So who's right?
Well, I don't know what Jamie Carragher's talking about using the English word. He can't even speak English, Dan. I've listened to him. This is a man who goes around spitting on people in cars and that. Take notes on him. He's a bit of an idiot. He's a bit like Neville and Lineker. The moment the great British public start listening to these overpaid ex-footballers, then we've got real problems, real problems. Look, most people in the real world don't give a monkeys what nationality the English manager is. If the next English manager is an Eskimo and he wins the World Cup, we'll all be jumping up and down and say what a great man he is. Or woman.
Very true.